Hello friends, let's make matcha together. So I've been making matcha for about 7 years, so when they were asking about what our passion projects were, I was like, I can talk about matcha. So I figured this would be a great opportunity for me to sit down and make people listen to me talk about my favorite thing for 5 minutes. So I like making my matchas iced, but making them hot is also really fun. I usually just microwave milk, but there's probably better ways to do it. I just get scared of boiling anything and putting it in a cup because if you put boiling water in your matcha, it'll burn the matcha. So if you are making hot matcha, just make sure you're not making it too hot or putting it into any really hot liquids. So my favorite brand is Ujicha, and I usually get that imported from Japan, but since I've been moving in and out this past year, I haven't had any like imports coming in, so I'm just gonna use the matcha my parents have, which is Japanese tea tsujiri, and it's unsweetened matcha mix. I prefer it unsweetened because then you can go in and sweeten it yourself, and I also just don't really like my matcha sweet, but we're gonna talk about sweeteners later. There are like fancy matcha bowls. I have like 4 or 5 of these just because I've collected them over the years as people giving them to me as gifts, but honestly you can just use any kind of bowl. And then to mix your matcha, you can either use this kind of whisk, which you can get in like these kind of matcha sets. You can get them off of Etsy or Redbubble or any of those sites, or Amazon has frothers, and they also have pink frothers. So if you want it in a pretty color, you can get like a nice little like handheld frother to froth your matcha. So I already have my water in here. It's not that much. I just want enough like so that it covers maybe this much thickness, just because I put a lot of matcha in a concentrated amount. Today I'm going to be making a coconut matcha Americano. I like to make coconut water and then just put matcha on top of it and not add any sweeteners to that. But if I'm making a matcha latte, I'll usually sweeten it then. So usually you're going to want to take like a bamboo stick, which I usually have, but since I'm at my parents' house, I don't have it with me. And then you're going to be putting heaping spoonfuls in here. So the thing to keep in mind with matcha is that matcha's caffeine is super slow to burn through your body. So you're not going to feel it the way you feel a caffeine spike immediately, but you are going to be kept up for like a lot of hours. Oh dear. If it's good quality matcha, you probably don't want to be sticking a metal thing in there for chemistry reasons, but I'm just going to be doing this instead of pouring it in so that we can see how much I usually put. So I have a very high tolerance to caffeine, which is not a good thing. So I would honestly say put about 1/3 of this, but I'm just going to go ahead and put this in just because I really like my matcha to be really strong. And now we're going to whisk it. So I used hot water from the tap because I was being really lazy, but usually what you want to do is either have some sort of kettle but not heat it up too much, or what I typically do, which is also lazy, is I'll do half boiling water and I'll do half cold fridge water. And then I'm guessing the temperatures will do something. Again, I'm not the best science person, but we're gonna go back and forth with W's. So you're gonna want to do like zigzags back and forth across the thing, and then towards the end, if I'm just trying to grab the clumps, I'll do like some circles. This is about to take a very long time, so we're probably just gonna skip forward through this. And you're gonna wanna keep going until you see like some little foamy bubbles. This color is not gonna be a great matcha color. And if you're on any social media related to matcha at all, you're gonna know that matcha color is a big thing. I will say some of the more expensive matchas, especially if we're importing them from an external company, those are gonna be more brighter green. Those are gonna be like more like smell. You get more of the matcha earthy smell. Versus like if you're going to Trader Joe's or like Publix or like a casual grocery store here and you're just getting matcha, then it's gonna be more of like a darker color. It's a little bit less, I don't know why it's a darker color when it's poorer matcha, maybe like oxidization or something. Oh my god, that's actually probably it. Wow. Oh, but I had a point with the matcha quality stuff. There is so much shaming on social media about the quality of your matcha and like the color of your matcha. And here's the thing. I feel like we need to be less pretentious about our matcha as a community. There is so much gatekeeping about whether or not you can drink matcha based on how sweet it is or like what color it is or this, that, or the third. The reason companies are selling these matcha is because it's fine matcha and it'll caffeinate you and it'll taste good and it'll be fun. So if you're interested in starting your matcha journey, go to Trader Joe's, pick up the first thing you see. It'll be fun. Just get a handheld frother and then just start pouring it over milk. You're gonna have the best time. A really easy way to sweeten your matcha is to just put creamer in the drink. So put milk up to here, put your matcha in, and then put creamer on top of it. And then you'll have a beautiful sweet matcha latte. There are a few other sweetener options. So Tarani is kind of a cheaper sweetener brand and it tastes a little chemically, but it's honestly just like they have so many flavors and it's kind of fun to go through like their catalog and just see what the most fun new flavor is. So that's a good option. My preferred sweetener brand is Monin. They still have a really diverse cast of like flavors that you can try from. And I feel like they taste more natural than like chemicals. When it comes to putting syrup in my matcha, I usually put it into the matcha and whisk it, but if you look on TikTok or you look on other accounts, people put it at the bottom and then you can get those nice layers. Typically, I'll only layer my matcha if I'm making homemade sweetener, because then if you're making like, for example, blueberries on a pan or cherry syrup on a pan, then you can get like a nice little coloring layer down here. You pour your milk over it. The ice is what's going to keep it like in layers, and then you're going to put your matcha on top. And then you can mix it and you can have fun and it'll be like a nice experience. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the Americano. Wait guys, this is so fun. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is my matcha Americano. I really like this one because I used water as the base with the matcha and then I used matcha as this. So the texture is just gonna be absolutely incredible. If you like normal Americanos, definitely try a matcha Americano. And then just kind of the last fun thing about matcha is there's just so many things that you can kind of flip it around with. Like if you really like lattes, I feel like you'd like the art of matcha making. It's fun to explore with different milks. There are so many different textures to different milks, like oat milk versus almond milk versus skim milk versus whole milk. Stores are even coming out in this like matcha craze that's going on social media. They're coming out with banana and strawberry milks, and like those look really fun to try. And also if you do have a whisk, you can go ahead and start making cold foam. So you do half heavy cream, half and half, and then add some syrup, and then you can add that on top. Very similar to the latte world. So yeah, I love talking about this. I love talking about all things matcha. I like talking about different brands. I like talking about even more sweetener and milk options. And then there are so many different recipes that you can try once you get your like base itinerary of things, which is really just the frother, because you have your cup and your ice and your bowl, and that's all you need. All the other accessories are very like consumeristic, and consumerism can be fun, obviously, if you like really enjoy the hobby. But if you're just getting into it, don't be like intimidated by all the different things you have to buy to start matcha. It's very simple. Just get the Trader Joe's matcha, just get an Amazon frother and get started. Thanks for watching, friends.